Welcome back to the deep dive. We're going deep into some pretty fascinating stuff today. Stuff you guys gave us, spells and charms, alongside the Law of One.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like an interesting combo.
You gave us a beginner's guide to spells and charms, and the ultimate book of spells to get us started on that.
Right, and for the Law of One, we're looking at books 2 and 4.
It might seem like, I don't know, an unusual pairing.
For sure, but you know what? I have a
Yeah.
feeling we're gonna find some really fascinating connections. See what happens when we kind of bring these two things together.
Yeah, totally. It's
Uh,
going to be fun. I think what really caught my attention in the beginner's guide was how they describe spells.
Oh, yeah.
It says they're like declarations of intent to the universe,
Interesting.
creating all these powerful, energy shifts and stuff. So I was thinking, could this be a way to like put the law of one into action?
You know, it very well could be. One of the core principles of the Law of One is that we are all connected, part of like this single universal energy. And Ra suggests that thoughts are energy, right?
Yeah.
So maybe focusing our intentions through spells could be a way to consciously shape our reality.
Oh, okay. So
Not-
it's not just like manifesting a new car.
No, no, not just material things, but also about aligning our energy with this greater universal force.
Yeah, wow. That's powerful. And this is where the this whole service to others thing comes in.
Yeah, exactly, which is another key part of the Law of One, right? Ra
Huh.
contrasts service to others with service to self.
Right, but
Both paths lead to spiritual growth, but service to others is seen as the more, I guess you could say, harmonious path, one that's like really aligned with the unity of, well, all beings.
that makes me think about one of the questions from a beginner's guide, about using spells to spread positivity to others. It seems like that'd be like a perfect example of aligning spell work with service to others.
Absolutely. And the Ultimate Book of Spells even mentions this too. It says that a spell's effectiveness really depends on the caster's intention.
Oh, so if the intention is, like pure, truly about helping others, then all that positive energy gets amplified.
Yeah, you got it.
It's interesting, though, that the Law of One, Book Two, puts so much emphasis on forgiveness. How does that fit into all of this?
Right.
Forgiveness seems like a really personal thing, not necessarily connected to, spells or shaping reality.
What's really fascinating is that Ra presents forgiveness as not just, this moral concept,
Yeah.
but an energetic one too, like holding on to anger or resentment, even towards ourselves. It creates these blockages in our energy centers.
Mhm. Whoa, okay, so if I'm holding on to anger, I'm actually blocking my own, like, spiritual growth. And
Yeah.
maybe even, like, my ability to work with energy, too.
Yeah, that's a great point. It highlights how our inner state directly affects our ability to manifest positive change, both within ourselves and in the world. You know, forgiveness in this context becomes a tool for clearing those energetic blockages.
Wow, that really puts things into perspective. I'm starting to see how working through my own internal stuff is, like, just as important as any spell or ritual.
It's all interconnected for sure. Now let's look at a specific example from the Ultimate Book of Spells. It mentions candle magic.
Oh, yeah, candle magic. I think the element of fire is just, captivating to a lot of people.
Right.
But how does that connect back to the Law of One?
Well, there's a really interesting parallel to Ra's discussion of the pyramid shape.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Remember how Ra described the pyramid as like focusing energy, almost like a lens? Well, a candle flame, you could say, kind of does something similar. It provides a focal point for our intention.
So by using candles in spell work, are we like tapping into that same principle of focused energy that the pyramids were designed for?
It's a really interesting possibility for sure. And this is where understanding the Law of One can really deepen our practice of spells and charms. It's not about just, blindly following rituals, but about understanding the underlying principles and aligning them with our intentions.
Wow. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. One of the things that I always felt kind of mystical were, the archetypes of the mind, which Ray discusses in the Law of One, Book Four. But I'm not sure I totally get how they connect to spells and charms.
Well, think of archetypes as these universal patterns of energy and consciousness, right? They represent these fundamental human experiences, and they can offer like profound insights into our own motivations and behaviors.
I kind of get the concept, but how can we like practically apply that knowledge to spell work?
Each archetype represents specific energies or qualities. Like, for example, the Hanged Man is associated with surrender and letting go of control.
Okay.
Recognizing this archetype within ourselves can help us understand, when we might be clinging too tightly to a desired outcome in our spell work, which could be blocking its effectiveness.
So knowing ourselves better, understanding these like deeper patterns, that can help us use spells and charms in a more conscious and effective way.
Precisely. And it also helps us understand the potential ethical considerations of spell work too. The law of one is like super clear about respecting free will, right?
Right.
We can't use spells to, manipulate others or force outcomes.
Makes sense. Yeah. So the intention behind this spell has to be aligned with service to others,
Yeah.
with the highest good of all involved.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. It's about using this knowledge responsibly, recognizing that our actions have a ripple effect.
And that's where things get like really mind-blowing. If our thoughts and intentions have the power to shape reality, and spells can amplify that energy, the
Yes.
possibilities for positive change are just like limitless.
It's a very powerful concept, isn't it?
It is.
And it invites us to become more, how would you say it? More conscious creators of our own lives and the world around
I'm
us.
already feeling like this is shifting my perspective. I came into this thinking about, spells and charms, but it's becoming so much more than that. It's about using those practices as tools for personal growth and service to others, all within the framework of this really profound philosophy.
That's the beauty of the deep dive, right? Making those unexpected connections and finding deeper meaning in the things that fascinate us.
Yeah. Before we go any further, there was this one point from the Law of One material that was like super intriguing to me. This idea of wanderers.
Oh, yeah, wonder.
Could this have any bearing on our discussion?
It's a fascinating concept, and it just might. Let's explore that after a short break. We'll be back in a moment to delve into this idea of souls that have chosen to incarnate on Earth from other densities, and how this ties into the Law of One and our exploration of spells and charms. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into spells, charms, and the Law of One. Before the break, you brought up this intriguing idea of wanderers. You were curious about how that concept might relate to our discussion.
Right. So, as I was reading about Wanderers and the Law of One material, I got like really curious. There are these souls that have come to Earth from, higher densities to help with the planet's evolution.
Right. That's the essence of it.
Mhm.
Ross suggests there are like many wanderers here, each with a unique purpose and a connection to realms beyond our third density. They often have a deep sense of mission, even if they can't quite recall their origins. I can definitely like relate to that feeling
Yep.
of having a purpose, even though the details are you know fuzzy. And it makes me wonder, could a wanderer's experience in those higher densities influence influence their understanding of energy and intention, making them, more naturally adept at things like spell work?
That's a really intriguing question. If a wanderer has experienced realities beyond our own, maybe they would have a more intuitive understanding of how energy works. Perhaps their approach to spell work would be different, more aligned with universal principles.
It's like they bring a cosmic toolbox with them,
Hmm.
filled with, knowledge and insights that we're just starting to like rediscover here on Earth.
What a fantastic analogy. And that toolbox might contain not just knowledge of, spells and rituals, but a deep understanding of the law of one itself, too.
Okay. But let's say someone is like listening to this and thinking, this resonates. I might be a wanderer. What advice would Ra offer to someone who wants to use their experiences, whatever their, origin might be, to be of service to others and align with the law of one?
Ra really emphasizes the importance of seeking knowledge, both internal and external. It's about exploring the deeper truths of the universe and our place within it. And it's also about going inward, understanding our own motivations and patterns.
It's just like a journey of self-discovery that also expands outward, connecting us to this like larger universal web.
Exactly. And that journey is going to be unique for everyone, whether they identify as a wanderer or not, right? There's no like one size fits all path. Ra encourages us to find our own way of expressing the law of one in our, daily lives.
So how do we tie this back to our original question about spells and charms?
Yeah.
Is there a way to like practice those things in a way that aligns with the law of one
Yeah.
and this idea of service to others?
If we view spells as a way to, focus and amplify our intentions, then aligning those intentions with the law of one is, well, paramount. It's about shifting our focus from, personal gain to a desire to heal, to grow, and to spread positivity and compassion.
So instead of trying to manipulate external circumstances, it's more about transforming ourselves, like
Yeah.
from the inside out, recognizing that our inner work is what ultimately creates positive change in the world.
You got it. That's the essence of what Ra calls service to others. Each individual who chooses that path contributes to like raising the planet's vibration, creating a ripple effect of positive energy.
It's like we're all part of this grand tapestry,
Mm.
and each act of kindness, each intention for good, it adds a new thread, weaving us closer together and creating a more vibrant and harmonious whole.
I love that image. It really speaks to the interconnectedness. That's at the heart of the law of one. We're not separate beings striving for individual enlightenment. We're all part of this unified consciousness, evolving together.
This conversation has really shifted my perspective.
Yeah.
Initially, I was kind of intrigued by the idea of spells and charms, but this whole exploration of the law of one has added a whole new dimension to it. It's not just about the magic itself,
Hmm.
but about the intention,
Yeah.
the motivation,
Yeah.
the responsibility that comes with wielding that kind of power.
And that's the beauty of the deep dive, right? We're going beyond the surface level, exploring these concepts in a way that connects them to a larger purpose, a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe.
I'm starting to see how even the simplest spell, like lighting a candle with the intention to radiate love and compassion, can become an act of service to others.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that our energy, our
Yeah.
thoughts, our actions, they have a much greater impact than we might realize.
This all feels very hopeful, but also a bit overwhelming.
Mm.
There's so much to consider, so much to learn. What advice would you offer to our listeners who are just beginning this journey of exploring the law of one and integrating those principles into their lives and practices?
Remember that it's a journey, not a destination.
Okay.
Don't feel pressured to become an expert overnight. It's about taking small steps, incorporating these ideas in a way that feels, authentic and aligned with your own values.
So it's not about trying to be perfect,
Yeah.
but about being open to learning, to
Mm.
growing, and to using these tools and philosophies to become the best version of ourselves.
Exactly. And there's an abundance of resources available to, support you on this path. Ray's teachings are expensive and profound, but they can also be quite dense.
A true deep dive, as we like to say.
Yeah. I'd suggest starting with the original The Law of One books. They provide the foundation for this philosophy. And remember, take your time. Allow the information to sink in. Let it resonate with your own experiences. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to connect with others who are also on this path.
It's like we're all part of this community of seekers,
Mm.
supporting each other as we explore these profound ideas and try to integrate them into our lives.
That's the spirit of it. And remember, the universe supports those who are dedicated to service to others, to raising the vibration of the planet.
This has been such a fascinating and thought-provoking conversation. But before we conclude our deep dive, I wanted to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the ethical considerations of working with spells and charms, especially in light of the law of one.
You're right. That's a crucial aspect that deserves further exploration. Let's delve into that in our final segment. We'll discuss how we can ensure that our spell work is aligned with the highest good and the principles of service to others.
So, before the break, we were talking about aligning our spell work with the law of one, and all the ethical considerations that come with it. It feels like a really important thing to think about,
Yeah.
especially now that we understand more about how connected we all are and the potential impact of our thoughts and intentions.
Yeah, it's super crucial. And as we, go deeper into these practices, we really got to be mindful of the potential for manipulation, even if it's unintentional, right? We talked about respecting free will, but how do we actually make sure that happens when we're testing spells?
That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
Hmm.
It's easy to say respect free will, but how do we actually ensure that when we're working with energies that can shape reality?
Well, the first step is to be radically honest with ourselves
That could be
about
great.
our intentions, right? When we're putting a spell together, what are we really hoping to get out of it? And are those, desires in alignment with the highest good of everyone involved?
Sounds like we need a serious ego check.
Right. It can't be about, just getting what we want, even if we think it's like for a good reason.
Exactly. That's the awareness we need. Let's say, for example, we're doing a spell for financial abundance. Trying seems harmless, right?
Yeah.
But we have to think about the ripple effects. Will this abundance come at someone else's expense? Or is it, about aligning with a flow of prosperity that benefits everyone?
Oh, that's like the butterfly effect, like
Yeah,
a small action having like these unforeseen and far-reaching consequences. And when we're amplifying those intentions with spells, man, those consequences could be like even bigger, right?
absolutely. Our actions have a ripple effect, whether we, realize it or not.
Yeah.
And when we're messing with energies that can like shape reality, that effect gets amplified. So, got to be really mindful of the impact, not just on ourselves, but on everyone connected to it all. Makes you really think twice before doing any spell. But it's also kind of empowering to know that if we use this energy responsibly, we can like actually help create a more positive world.
That's what's so cool about aligning with the law of one. It's not about denying our, desires
Mm.
or trying to be some kind of saint. It's about like refining those desires, understanding where they
Right.
come from, and aligning them with a higher purpose that benefits, well, not just us, but all beings.
So even something as, common as a love spell can be an act of service
Yeah.
if the intention is pure.
Right.
It's not about trying to like make someone love you.
Exactly. It could be about opening your heart to love, about, becoming more loving and compassionate, radiating that energy outward
Yeah.
without being, attached to the outcome.
So it's about that internal shift first,
Yeah,
and then letting that like ripple outwards and affect everyone around you.
exactly. And those ripples, even the small ones, can create huge change. Imagine a world where everyone was, intentionally radiating love and compassion instead of like fear and judgment. What kind of reality could we create together?
It's a beautiful thought, but also kind of a huge responsibility. I'm sensing a theme here, this weaving together of personal growth and service to others.
It's all connected, yeah. The more we work on ourselves, the more we heal our, own wounds and clear our energetic blockages, the more we can really be of service to others and contribute to raising the planet's vibration.
It's like we've come full circle. We started talking about spells and charms, and now it's about so much more. It's about using these practices as
Mhm.
tools for personal transformation, for aligning with a higher purpose, and
Mm.
becoming the best versions of ourselves, not just for us, but for like everyone, right?
And that, I believe, is the essence of what it means to be a true follower of the law of one.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into spells, charms, and the law of one. It's been an amazing journey, and we hope it's, given you some new insights and maybe even inspired you to explore these ideas a bit more.
Remember, you have the power to create positive change, both within yourself and in the world around you. Keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep radiating your unique light. The universe is waiting to see what you'll create.
And until next time, keep diving deep.